in the racketeering count. So we don't know what the vote is. It's hard to read what they...
Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed me.
The walls of the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center have been holding Sean Diddy Combs for almost a year now, and the latest whispers snaking out of that Graham complex are darker than anything we've heard before. We already know the courts have slammed the door on his bail for the 5th time, citing him as a risk of flight and a danger to the community. We've seen the rulings, the blunt words from Judge Arun Subramanian, the refusal to make any exceptions, even as Diddy's lawyers claim his health is failing. But the newest claims go further, suggesting that what's happening behind those prison walls isn't just about legal strategy. It's about a body under siege. More than one insider says he's quietly battling a serious infection, with the boldest rumors naming the unnameable, HIV. It's not confirmed, it's not on record, but it's out there. And in the echo chamber of the entertainment world, that alone is enough to light a fuse. We have to remember, in a place like the MDC, news doesn't leak like it does in LA or New York nightlife. It drips, passed in low tones between visitors and guards, hinted at in letters that never should have left the building.
And then what's the stuff that's happening with Wendy Williams? Do you think this is all connection to? Of course.
The suggestion that Diddy's condition is known among certain inmates adds a dangerous dimension. If it's true, it doesn't just speak to his personal health. It could mean a storm is coming for the circles he once ruled. Because if Diddy has it, who else might? This isn't just gossip. It's the kind of speculation that can make million-dollar reputations collapse overnight. And suddenly, the conversation isn't just about him. It's about a network. That's where the freak-off list comes in. Buried deep in the evidence seized during those federal raids on his Miami and LA properties, investigators allegedly came across a file. Physical or digital, no one will say. But some insiders swear it is a roll call of the powerful. Names from music, film, and sports.
People I don't think realized was he had cameras all over the place, unbeknownst to them. And now he has all that footage, supposedly. This is what I'm told. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens if, you're a huge, iconic, TV star or movie star, and you're in some very, who's getting the money?
Some alive, some no longer with us. A list that could, if it ever became public, explain why so many have been so silent. The idea is that those legendary freak-off parties were not just debauchery. They were a crossroads where health risks, control, and secrecy collided. Did these events serve as the epicenter of what some are already calling a silent epidemic? Were these sessions recorded, cataloged, and leveraged as both entertainment and insurance? And if a medical condition was making its way through those rooms, how many signatures on that list knew the risk and kept showing up anyway?
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide.
Think about the timing. Federal raids in March 2024 unearthed not just the freak-off supplies, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant according to prosecutors, but also allegedly communications between staff and high-profile guests. This is where rumor and fact tangle like vines. Several sources claimed there were messages hinting at medical precautions before certain parties. Was it code? Were they warning someone or screening them? No official file confirms it, but in the vacuum of truth, the story grows teeth. And the scariest part isn't the possibility that it happened. It's the possibility that it was managed quietly, repeatedly.
You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. Who knows what happened
Philip. Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at. There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card.
We've seen too many sudden tragedies in the bad boy orbit to ignore the pattern. Craig Mack, gone young. Kim Porter's mysterious passing, which to this day has unanswered questions swirling around it. Others who faded from public view, citing exhaustion or health struggles that never got more explanation. Individually, they're heartbreaks. Together, in the context of these whispers, they start to look like puzzle pieces. Could there have been a shared truth they couldn't speak because of the NDAs Diddy was known to favor? Industry veterans have long talked about contracts with clauses so tight they make speaking out almost impossible without financial ruin. If what we're hearing is true, those documents might not just have been about protecting brand image, they might have been about containing an epidemic.
And this is the flight where Diddy said to her,
Showed her
he
the video.
testified
Showed her the
that
freak-off video.
he showed her a video of a freak-off that she participated in and said, if you don't participate in another freak-off when we get to New York, I'm going to put this video out. I'm going to send it to your mother.
And that's coercion.
She
If
testified
it's true.
to that.
If the jury
If they
believes
believe her,
yeah.
that's coercion. They would have Cassie.
The details from the trial make the speculation even more unnerving. Cassie Ventura's testimony painted those freak-offs as not just wild gatherings, but prolonged ordeals, sometimes stretching 4 days with heavy use of party enhancements and physical exhaustion. She described them as a job, one you couldn't quit without consequences. Prosecutors say these were elaborate productions with male participants brought in, performances staged, and everything under Diddy's control. If these environments were also incubators for something contagious, it raises a terrifying question. Did anyone even try to warn the participants? Or was the code of silence so strong that everyone involved became collateral damage in protecting the man at the center? Even the legal back and forth on bail has hints of this tension. Judge Subramanian noted that serious medical conditions could, in theory, be grounds for release, but said Diddy failed to prove his case. That's a strange detail to linger in a bail ruling unless it's pointing at a fight over what those conditions are. We don't have the sealed medical records, but the defense's repeated push on this point and the prosecution's complete lack of acknowledgement is telling. Either there's nothing there, or there's something too sensitive to air in public filings.
I don't know this. I mean, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if you know. Listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
Meanwhile, the freak-off list hovers in the background like a loaded weapon. Some say it's just an urban legend, a scare tactic whispered to keep people loyal. Others insist they've seen portions of it, enough to know that if it leaked, it would send shockwaves through both coasts. The names aren't all the kind you'd expect. Sure, there are famous singers, actors, even an athlete or two. But there are also producers, political donors, media executives, the kinds of people who don't often make headlines, but have the power to end or greenlight careers with a single call. If any of them shared space in those parties with someone who was infected, willingly or not, the legal and reputational fallout would be volcanic.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers describe the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
Every time Diddy has walked into court now, you can see it on his face. The weight of the charges, yes, but also the burden of what might still be hidden. 11 months inside the MDC has not softened him, but it has stripped away the celebrity sheen. His legal team keeps pushing the narrative of a swinger's lifestyle gone misunderstood, arguing that everything was between consenting adults. But prosecutors, and now the public, are starting to wonder if that's just the sanitized version of something far riskier. Because if the health rumors are true, the consent defense collapses under the shadow of non-disclosure.
I'm sorry, I'm just really
I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21 years later.
We also have to note how strangely protective some former associates remain. Virginia Gina Hoon, once identified only as Victim 3, actually wrote to the court pleading for Diddy's release, calling him loving, patient, gentle. That's an unusual public stance, given the indictment's portrayal of her as a victim. It makes us ask, is this loyalty genuine, or is it part of the machinery that keeps the deeper truths locked away? If the silent epidemic theory holds any water, people in her position might feel as much fear about what could come out as Diddy himself does. The absence of official comment on the health rumors from his camp is almost as loud as a confirmation. In the world of celebrity PR, denial is cheap and instant. When a story this explosive lingers without a flat-out false from the inner circle, it's often because refuting it might invite more questions than staying quiet. Add in the fact that the prison has its own tight-lipped culture, guards and staff rarely speak unless subpoenaed, and we're left with a rumor that refuses to burn out. It's just sitting there, smoldering, while the list of possible implications grows longer by the week.
What we can tell you is just enough to show you how deep this thing goes, and why this story isn't going away. So stick around, because what you're about to see is straight from the inside.
And in all of this, the October 3 sentencing date looms like a clock, counting down, not just to a prison term, but to the possibility that sealed evidence, court transcripts, or even leaks could finally spill pieces of whatever truth has been held back. The stakes feel higher now than they did during the trial, because what's at risk isn't just one man's freedom. It's the stability of a whole elite network that might be linked by more than just mutual acquaintances and party invitations.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at. He has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much. But what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on.
And if whispers inside the MDC are hard to verify, clues hiding in plain sight might be even more unsettling. Fans have been combing through Diddy's music videos from the Bad Boy glory days, pointing to symbols, gestures, even stray lines of dialogue that suddenly feel loaded. In certain shots, background extras look directly into the camera, with what some swear are deliberate, almost pleading expressions. Wardrobe choices, unusual gloves, covered necks, dark glasses indoors are now being reinterpreted as coded signals. One former set designer claims that props were sometimes swapped at the last minute to send a message, but nobody dared to explain what that message was. Could these have been silent SOS calls from artists and collaborators trapped in a system they couldn't publicly name? We've all watched these videos for decades, but what if they were never just entertainment?
Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
The deeper fans dig, the more specific the theories get. In one high-profile visual from the late 90s, a prominent guest artist is seen sitting apart from the crowd, mouthing words that don't match the track's lyrics. In another, a lavish party scene is intercut with quick flashes of hospital corridors and sterile gloves, imagery that made little sense at the time, but now, through the lens of the health rumors, feels like a direct warning. Was Diddy's empire dressing up desperation a spectacle? And if these Easter eggs were genuine, why didn't anyone outside the inner circle piece it together sooner?
Two things. Number one, what's Trump in trouble over when it comes to Epstein? He's in trouble because he is making it look like, to the MAGA base, he's part of the elite cabal
that covers for other members of the elite cabal. And they don't like that. They elected Trump because he promised not to be one of them, but to bust up those groups.
The conversation takes an even sharper turn when we follow the trail into the so-called health records conspiracy. Several insiders, including a former road manager and 2 employees from the Miami estate, insist that during the federal raids, agents didn't just leave with electronics and party supplies. They allegedly seized locked files and encrypted drives containing personal medical documentation. No official inventory has confirmed this, but the mere possibility is explosive. If investigators have proof that Diddy knew about a transmissible condition and continued hosting intimate events, that would transform this from scandal to a calculated abuse of power. What are they hiding in those sealed evidence boxes? Who else might be exposed if those files ever see daylight? Industry lawyers have quietly suggested that such records, if they exist, could implicate more than just Diddy if they contain testing results, prescriptions, or correspondence between high-profile guests in private clinics. The fallout could stretch into corners of Hollywood and the music industry that have so far escaped scrutiny. This wouldn't just be about betrayal between lovers or friends. It would be about an elite ecosystem protecting itself at the expense of anyone outside its protective ring. And the NDAs, as we've heard so much about, might not have been there to shield sensitive behavior, but to contain a medical reality that could have collapsed entire careers.
If the judge, in October 3rd, if the judge denies bail, then Trump is going to make a decision possibly immediately thereafter. Most likely, the judge is going to, based on previous decisions, it feels like the judge is going to deny bail. I don't know.
We've already seen how the justice system tiptoes around such matters. In court, the medical angle has been largely absent, yet bail filings keep brushing against the phrase serious medical conditions. The prosecution never names them. The defense never spells them out. That silence is telling. If the records are real, they might be in the hands of federal authorities, kept under wraps until the right moment, or buried altogether to prevent chaos. We've seen this pattern before in unrelated cases. Information too explosive to handle in public ends up locked away, traded in backroom deals instead of courtroom showdowns.
Now you notice to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, threaten to knock their head off, talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in the room and when a man walks in the room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept.
Meanwhile, fan speculation keeps looping back to the same haunting idea. Maybe the clues were always there, in the beats we danced to, in the videos we played on repeat. Some point to the 2001 Bad Boy for Life video, where Diddy is shown barging into suburban homes and disrupting lives as an allegory for how he infiltrated the personal worlds of those around him. Others note the recurring imagery of masks and mirrored rooms in later work, as if hinting at identities hidden and realities distorted. To the casual viewer, it's just art direction. To those now piecing the puzzle together, it looks like a confession hiding in full view.
But everybody in the courtroom has been warned. Do not reveal her identity. Do not even give a physical description of her. And that was the deal. The judges made it clear. If anybody violates that, there will be severe consequences. Okay, so she testified. Excuse me.
If any of this breaks into the open, we could be looking at a reckoning that doesn't stop with Diddy. Entire label rosters, film projects, and sponsorship deals could unravel overnight. The networks of protection, lawyers, managers, PR fixers wouldn't be able to contain it. This is more than a scandal. It's a wake-up call. If the truth comes out, no one will be safe. Are you ready for what's next? Stay sharp. Stay watching.